I thought I might just make a quick video, and I'm really, really very quick, just to make a point. And the reason being because I might as well. The the vile individual who's caused me a lot of trouble a few years ago, who recently I would have thought that they just would go away, and you know this police abusing powers channel uploader, YouTube channel uploader called Dan. He has got a lot of troll accounts on YouTube and Facebook, and he randomly left me a comment on my Facebook calling me a nutter, something. Maybe it's because I've actually got some real life stories to tell. I'm a true survivor, and um, and I've also got some, in my own humble opinion, some very interesting anecdotes. Um, Whereas this person is just, well, as I said in one of my last videos, I know I'm not talking like a woman of Yahweh. Oh, by the way, Shalom Shabbat Yahweh. I've had some tiny prayers answered, but they're milestones. But anyway, so the reason why I'm making this video, I thought I might as well just show some evidence, because why not? I've got a TV in here, and I can show the evidence with it. And basically, what had happened was, for anyone who doesn't know, who watches my YouTube, I do this for my own benefit. I've been documenting. I didn't realize just how long I'd spoken to this individual. Now, when you're extremely vulnerable and you're going through so much on your own, homelessness, you've been attacked in your own home by convicted criminals that are protected by the police and the council, and all this other stuff that's been going on, this demented, as I said, lunatics are running the asylums. And I'm talking about every institution there is going. But um, truth is stranger than fiction, and well, when you're a survivor, I suppose, if I didn't have these interesting anecdotes and stories to tell about myself and my family, I probably would have given up a long time ago. But I've actually got a lot to live for. Whereas this vile creature who made out that he was, and I will show you evidence. I will turn the screen and show the TV so you can see for yourself. This YouTuber, this YouTube person looks has obviously spent a lot of money on making himself look professional, because when you've got a phone number going across the screen saying, call me, um, and it all looks, impressive, and this person sells their own merchandise and whatnot. Now, like I've said many times, I'm an amateur. I'm an amateur woman of Yahweh. I'm an amateur YouTuber. And I am an extremely vulnerable woman who is trying to navigate their way through an insane world of. So, anyway, so basically, this YouTuber has got police abusing powers, is the name of his YouTube channel. I'm in the thick of it. I ring up. I was self-funding at that time. It was 2022. and I was self-funding the Cavendish Hotel for 9 months with back pip just for my safety. I'd fled my room in a council HMO hellhole. Bearing in mind, it's just, like I said, lunatics and everyone playing victim. I later learned from Caroline Ansell's MP office that um, a woman who worked at the Caroline's, my local MP for Eastbourne, Caroline Ansell at the time, her office had reported to the police, yes, the police, that Dan's followers on YouTube, and he's basically chucked them over to me. They were ringing the House of Commons and being, it was apparently so bad that they had to call the police. So isn't it ironic? He's got this police abusing powers YouTube channel, and then there's a chap called Paul from Warrior Wales. He's from Wales, and he actually told me that he went into their Discord group and they were all saying, let's hope that Bryony suicides. Now, I would like to hope, I hope, Paul, that you really should have reported that to the police because that's incitement to suicide. And I've actually got evidence of an obscene phone call from an anonymous number in the early hours, which the Met Police didn't look into. And as I said, this bent solicitor was going to help me make a subsequent civil claim against the council for locking me out of a flat when news my father had died. So don't shoot the messenger here, because people would not survive 2 minutes in my shoes, which is why this coward who has been harassing me, well, he stopped, but he, like I said the other day, I had to block one of his Facebook accounts because he basically left a troll comment. This is Dan from Police Abusing Powers, calling me a nutter. Now this is someone who's a coward, clearly, who's taken drugs, allegedly, according to his uh, moderators and people, and at the time he'd shared with me a video of himself crying in tears to his own followers, the people who watch his police abusing powers, saying that he was going to suicide. He's telling me not to waste paramedics' time, and yeah. Well, anyway, and this is someone who told me a sob story about how he'd taken an overdose because his mates, when he was 16, had put maggots down his. They went fishing and they put maggots down his shirt, so that made him go and take an overdose. So it's, yeah, we're dealing with little boys here. So, like I said in my one of my last videos, I'm not. I know I'm not speaking like a woman of Yahweh, but uh, like I said, would you be able to deal with rape? Because I tell you what, I knew Barbara Coe, who used to tutor me. She was born in a Japanese concentration camp. She was from Littlington. I don't know if she's still alive or what, but her sister was a counsellor. Her sister counselled a male police officer who was raped. Now, as a child and as a young woman, I didn't know that men could be raped. And this was a police officer, so this was sometime in the 90s, or I don't know, maybe it was decades before that, I don't know. But I was told this back in the 90s. So, yes, it does happen to men as well. And I'm a rape victim. And like I've said many times, I was talking to a woman a few days ago who who said to me how brave I am because a lot of women don't report rape, and I single-handedly gave evidence, you know, DNA evidence, graphic evidence at the Saturn Rape Victim Centre, swabs and all, to get a man convicted of. I had all the injuries and everything and that's when Eastbourne Police were helping me. That was 2011. So this was before they then started sexually assaulting me, behaving like children in a playground because I won't call my sister a man and and protecting a school teacher who doesn't like me writing a note for her but is happy to write a note for me. Um anyway, I'm not going to give away to things about my personal circumstances, but things are looking a tiny bit better. Um, baby steps. And yeah. So, and I'd also like to add, because you can go and see this video for yourself. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I will show you. I will show you. I will turn the screen and you can see it for yourself. This I've also got evidence of this. Well, I didn't record my phone call with his friend, this Tina Chave from the Independence Advice Network, but he had a call handler, a friend, call in who claimed to have 40 years of experience of dealing with the police. This was in 2022. So this is around my 40th birthday. And this Tina Che from the Independent Advice Network, and Dan's friend from Police Abusing Powers, had said she would help me to help others, which is funnily enough what this criminal landlady said, and she should be in prison now. But it's all it's the same old thing of people falsely offering help, that sort of thing, and then threatening me, then sending me an email and threatening me because I had basically said on my amateur YouTube channel that she falsely offered me help. And that is exactly what this woman who set up, the ex-police woman who set up Warming Up the Homeless, did to me. She falsely offered me help, then threatened me. But I've since met people who have left the charity volunteers, because this sort of thing is actually rife. It's not just me. And I have been surviving, fighting. It's a miracle. I've never worked so hard in my life. That's what I was telling this lady a few years ago. Who knows what it's like to deal with narcissists? Yeah. Like I said, that's the real pandemic. If you can survive that, you're a well away. Um, but yeah, a lifetime of experience. So, yeah, but I'm not going to play the whole thing because I'm talking for a long time to Dan. But the title of his video, because you can go and see it for yourself. I'm speaking for quite a long time. Obviously, I'm traumatized because there are members of the council, Councillor Robin Maxted, Councillor Stephen Holt, Councillor Alan Shuttleworth, Head of Housing. He went from Head of Housing, and then I think it was Stephen Holt took over. I mean, even Juliet said, "Cool, I thought you was a boy." Stephen Holt, his face, Councillor Stephen Holt, his face was on a leaflet in the property where I was attacked. You know, the recordings I have and the video footage of blood on my door and my bedroom window smashed and all these horrific things happening. Well, you can go and watch this video for yourself. I'm going to turn the camera so you can see, but I'm going to play some of the video so you can see. It's called Thursday Night Live with Call In, Police Abusing Powers YouTube channel. It's Dan, he's got his headphones on. It says 2 years ago, but it was actually 2022. So that's 3 years ago. And I'm going into a lot of detail about what I've been through. And at one point, yes, Paul, Warrior Wales, yes, you're right, because you messaged me on Facebook. You said that Dan has got serious mental issues. Yes, he has. And I do hope that I'm not hope you don't think I'm being funny, or I really do hope that you did report them for inciting suicide in a vulnerable adult, and that they was did you report it to the police? Did you say this vulnerable adult, she's had an obscene phone call, she's meant to be in supported accommodation, her father's died, they've been harassing her, they're all saying in his Discord group how they all want Bryony to suicide, and this woman is already suffering with suicide ideation. You see, the very people that are complaining about the UK police, these people that have got nothing going, they've got nothing better to do. They don't have a life. They are just as bad as them. They might as well join the police. I mean, didn't he date someone who, I've got to be careful what I say, a lady who's got family members in the UK police. I mean, it's one big playground, but this just proves my naivety. I had no idea what was going on till late in the day in this country. Like I said, my grandmother was 3 years away from being Victorian. My mother was Georgian. And my mother said I'm like a Jane Austen lady. And that's not being big headed. That's basically my mother saying that I don't belong in this time. I'm an old soul. But my mother also saw me as a medieval lady, maiden, you know. I saw myself as a bit of a Disney princess. I mean, they say I'm the Cinderella of the zodiac, and if I went into astrology, well, I had Penn and Teller on earlier, and they had a massive symbol of the magic circle, which has got all the astrological signs on it. Forgive me, Yahweh. Um, but like I said, the magic circle. I knew a wonderful magician. He was amazing. His name was John Day, and got so many happy memories of him. And only the best of the best. He was a member of the Magic Circle, as was Prince Charles and Paul Daniels. It's an elite thing. So I've gone off on one. Yeah, okay. I might in another video go off on one about Vanity, Adamant's ex-girlfriend slash Prince's ex-girlfriend, because there was a woman who wanted. I've seen a YouTube video of a woman who wanted to go to her funeral, but she couldn't. And apparently Prince was meant to go to her funeral, but she was part of the Jewish Kabbalah. That I knew there was something not quite right about this. Hollywood is never ever Christian, right? There's always something dodgy involved. It's a cover, and there was something to do with the sacrifice of a child that was born the same year as me, 1982, but Vanity ended up dying herself. We're talking about heavy, heavy Jewish Kabbalah, occult practices. Anyway, that's another video for another day. Like I said, Adamant. I was heavily into Adamant. He worshipped Baphomet. They're all heavy occultists. And the reason why these idiots from police abusing powers and trolls is because they don't have any real stories to tell. I do. And a survivor's story. And it's made my life, my existence interesting and bearable because of that, because I've got something to talk about. And you hear, like I said, I've met Mark Devlin and Mark, and all these people who, and I've got these, you know contacts, as well. When I say contacts, as in contacts, you know as in it's a small world, isn't it? Very small world. The children who had John Day at their party, they're the children of the mother that 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 this speaker at the conference that Mark Devlin was at. He was there, and he was a detective who's exposed the Freemasons and satanic ritual abuse. So yes, it's a very, very, very small world, and it's, we're in the last days. So but but yes, Paul Warrior Wales, in this video I'm about to show you, Dan is very clearly saying that I'm very brave to ring in, and I'll show you. I'll show you now. So just bear with me. Because to go from saying I'm a very brave woman and telling his listeners, oi, oi, I won't have any of that. So while I was talking, he said, sorry, Bryony, can I just interrupt you? So I didn't see what was being posted, and I wasn't interested. But in this video, Dan from Police Abusing Powers, he is saying, telling his followers to stop all of that, and he's a part of it. I find it very amusing though, so I'll show you. So just a sec. Right. It's not very good. Please excuse my laundry, by the way. So this is Dan's video. Like I said, it's Thursday Night Live with Paul, and it was in 2020. This is me. So this is me calling him. Hello. Yes, it is. Yeah. How are you? Sorry. I've got you on the screen in front of me, and it's coming out a bit late. If you turn that down, or mute it. Okay. I'll mute it. Yeah. Sorry. It's a bit confusing when you're waiting for a reply through the computer. The phone. How are you? Very much. You're very welcome. Thank you. It just obviously it feels a bit weird because I'm not used to going on someone's. I'm a technophobe, so it just feels a bit weird. You're very welcome here. Thank you. Yeah. I don't really know where to start. I've done a lot of my own YouTube live streams where I've just been ranting away about everything. But basically, I don't really know where to start. Um, the past 5 years, I've been put through absolute torture by Sussex Police. Right. And yeah, uh, it, sorry, see the TV. Because I do struggle with my mental health and everything, and I am extremely vulnerable. Excuse me. Basically, how can I say? Um, I'll probably start by just explaining my sort of circumstances. Okay. Because this feels a bit weird. Sorry. That's not it's fine. I'm currently I've been I'm released born under adult social care about 16 years ago, and unfortunately, I never got the help with mental health and everything. Right. I sort of have fallen into that sort of system and sort of, failed me and everything. So to cut a sort of a long story short, um, I've they make you feel ashamed if you can't cope and everything. And yeah. I went into supported accommodation. Unfortunately, I've had a sort of a sheltered upbringing, so to speak. I live with my late mother, and uh, I just went into a system where I thought we were very naive. We thought, oh well, they'll help us and help me and everything and whatnot. And I went into the foyer first of all, and then I went into the actual supported accommodation. Right. And they didn't want to help. They didn't. My mother, when my mother was dying of cancer, I was forced to sign a homeless application form. Didn't help me. Mental health deteriorated, etc., etc. Went into a private rental flat. Couldn't cope, and you know how it is. So, yeah. And, sorry, because it's embarrassing. Listen, honestly, we've watched the channel for any amount of time. I'm always honest about my stuff. And the reason I do that is because I want people to feel ease talking about things. You get no judgment from me. You might get a few people in the comments sometimes, but generally speaking, they'll get sorted out by the moderators. This is what the same words they've got, and they want to just talk, or they've got a mental health issue. Even if just by talking to me can help, then I would just like to interject. So I've had harassment, verbal abuse. One time in the chat, someone referred to my partner as a cunt. How lovely! These are Dan's people that he passed to me. So, um, yeah, lovely. I just wanted to interject. I might just make myself a cup of tea while I'm, you know. But this is. I hope the sound is working. So. Do that. If I can help in any other way, then I would obviously try and do that as well. But don't feel embarrassed. Take your time. It's absolutely fine. Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Because I'm trying to be, I'm one of these people who people don't know how to take me. I'm not a snob, but I'm trying to be more of my authentic self, and Sorry, you can't see the picture very well. It's not coming out on here. It's a bit fuzzy on the. My screen is. Well, like I said, I'm a technophobe. I'm talking about John Alexander Patterson of the Royal Commission, who I met on the Amberley ward in the Eastbourne Psychiatric Unit. I don't know what's happened to him. It's quite amusing to think that at Seaford Police Station they had an open day, and I had my mug shot taken when I was 11 years old with a Polaroid camera. I don't know what my mother did with that photograph because I didn't keep it. But I had a mug shot taken and fingerprints. Like, oh, this is a bit of fun. And the guy who set up Crime Stoppers, Brian Setchfield, right? John Alexander Patterson, who was exposing fraud, theft, money laundering, and baby organ harvesting on the NHS. I met this guy on the Amberley ward in Eastbourne Psychiatric Unit. This is what I mean. I've actually got a story to tell, unlike some people. And, this landlady that wanted to help me write a book, who should be in prison for illegally locking me out of the house, these nutters, because she's friends with Charles Lucas Property Management. Birds of a feather flock together, huh? Huh? But anyway, so Brian Setchfield, who set up Crime Stoppers, uh, his hang on a minute, he's related to the Dauphin, to Marie Antoinette's son. Now, I managed to find the movie that John Alexander Patterson was talking about, the banned 1950 something movie called Dangerous Exile. And it's the true story, the banned story. It's a 1950s movie, the true story of what happened to Marie Antoinette's son. Because, like in 1982, the year I was born, you had things like the Scarlet Pimpernel that sort of, told you it. And Brian Setchfield had a lock of the child's hair. This is the prince. This is Marie Antoinette's son. This is from the 1700s. He had a lock of his hair or something. I don't know. But anyway, so John Alexander Patterson was living in Seaford, which, I've spent a lot of my childhood in the best years of my life in Seaford and New Haven. And yeah, and like I said, Adamant's best friend worked across the road from her. Oh, also, someone in Seaford, there's like a weird castle looking home just above the pond, and Jimi Hendrix. Someone owns Jimi Hendrix's coat or jacket or something, which actually looked like Adamant's jacket. But anyway, that's something else. He's got these little secrets, And there was something about that where the Jesus Army, that abandoned dormitory, that old school. Anyway, I'm going off on one, but anyway, I'm talking to him about John Alexander Patterson. community, and because of my vulnerability, I said things that happened that involved the police. It's very frightening, actually. And I really, I don't mean to sound like a drama queen. I'll get to that point because it's all completely insane. I just want you to know I'm not deluded. No, no. Listen, when it comes to mental health, what I've realised having my own issues is that what may seem almost irrelevant to other people, to us, is a major thing. You know what I mean? And that's important, and it's important to understand that from that person's point of view. So, Dan, why are you trolling me then, calling me a nutter? Anyway, we'll get to the bit where he says that I'm a really brave woman and, and telling his nutcase followers who watch my video, who caused problems for Caroline Ansell's office, which is ironic because Caroline Ansell is complicit in this. She's meant to be a Christian, but she ignored Juliet Rawson, who is now a deceased cancer patient, ignored her. Well, anyway, I'll play this. Yes, see? So again, as I say, you are welcome here. I will never judge anybody or listen to anything anyone's got to say. Oh no, of course you won't. If I can't, then hopefully just me listening will be of some kind of help. Itchy chin. Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much. You're saying all the right things. You'll never judge me, will you, Dan? But 3 years on, you're trolling me from your Facebook account, calling me a nutter. Pot calling. So much invalidation and people that I've had to deal with. I know about. And speaking as someone who's done paid care work, to be locked out of a supported flat by people trained 24/7 to deal with complex needs on news that your father's died, and the bent solicitor, notoriously bent solicitor, look up illegal eviction scam Bexhill, and listen to that 86-year-old Marion, the fraud investigator, saying that Joe Holden's got 16 pages of corruption against him, including sexual harassment. So you think, yeah, and this is a guy who 3 times hung up on me saying he doesn't care if the Prime Minister is phoning me, but Ewan Morrison, who works for Josh Burundi, the local MP, the Lib Dems, said each time he will see you. I want to know, look, there's a lady in Wales, and I don't mean to be rude, it was very kind of you to send me that card, but I don't understand why you then said some strange things about, I don't know where you live or anything. You sent me a birthday card. You know where I am. You knew where I was. And this thing about Juliet Rawson, and Juliet Rawson is dead. She was a cancer patient. She was ignored. During this time that I'm speaking to Dan, I've still got the witness statement that she sent to Caroline Ansell as a cancer patient, saying that she witnessed me being attacked at Belmore Road, and I've got the evidence. I've played it. How many times on my YouTube channel have I played that recording of a criminal on a tag threatening to beat me senseless at 3 a.m. in my own council accommodation? That's why when I was ringing Dan, I was self-funding the Cavendish Hotel for 9 months. I'd fled my room for my safety. I reckon the kind of people that are watching police abusing powers are these kind of people that have attacked me, protected criminals. It wouldn't surprise me, because the way they were behaving is exactly the same. And the worst criminals are the police. Birds of a feather, yeah, all the same, all as bad as each other, all crooks and criminals. I didn't even know what a grifter was until I started doing all of this. Setting up a YouTube channel and meeting people like John Patterson. I've had narcissism and everywhere, and and it's just, but almost psychopathic. I mean, I've never known anything like this in my life. What I've had has happened over the past 5 years. I to the point where I don't know. I did go on for a bit. Has been part of this. Because people have said, "Oh, he's emotionally abusing you," and it's one of those areas where you know, when both of you are so stressed out, you can't see the wood through the trees. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. Like, this is how insane it got. Basically, so what happened was I couldn't cope in this private rented flat, and he walked into all my problems late in the day. And don't laugh at this. I know this sounds really silly. I didn't ask him to be a carer for me. I don't need a carer. But he went to the local MP, Caroline Ansell, and Caroline Ansell suggested, her office suggested this caring role, and I didn't ask for it. I didn't. He just, I don't know. It's all just been a bit. Um, I've had this hoarding and clutter problem for 16 years, and the NHS doesn't recognise it as an illness. Right. Ever since my mum sold the house, and I never had used to have this problem, and it's one of those. And I have found people that do deal with clutter problem. I have found in my own time, and there are people that recognise this. It is a very serious illness, but there are a lot of people that are in denial that don't want the help. And this is what pisses me off. I have worked, I've never worked so hard in my life since being on severe disability. And my life was laid back when I was a paid carer because I've been left to deal with all of this, you know. So pardon the mess in the hotel room, but the paramedics said they've seen worse. So really shameful, embarrassing things. And I had other problems in the flat. I had leaks and toilet blocks, and didn't want Darren to see it. But in the end, he kind of had to. Uh, and the thing is, since my mother died, I've become extremely lonely and vulnerable. Um, oh, and can I also interject? If you go and look at this video, you can't see on my screen because this is a really poor quality. This is a laptop. But it actually says, share your story, whistle blow, talk crap, call me names. So, but I'm being told by the doctors that I won't get the help with my mental health because I'm too eloquent. But this guy, Dan, is trolling me, calling me a nutter. You're absolutely right, Paul, though. These people have got serious issues, serious mental health issues. He's the one who told me. I know I shouldn't. It's. What would Yeshua say? Don't become like them. But I am a little bit becoming, sounding like them. But perhaps I shouldn't say this, but he was the one who told me he had bipolar and takes medication. I don't take medication for anything. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. I'm doing bloody brilliantly. The only thing, and it's not going to work, is the narcissistic, the bullying, the troll comments. It doesn't work. In fact, if anything, it's my therapy. Do you know what I mean? I might as well get through this because I'll just go on for a bit. I don't know. And yet, it's been worse. It's gone on and on and on because this was before I was locked out of my flat. This was before this landlady locked me out of her house. And this was before what happened earlier this year when I was arrested over my free speech. Where is Darren in all of this? Well, I love my partner. I'm just, like I said, uh, everyone is responsible for themselves. Everyone will stand before, if they don't stand before a court in this lifetime, in the next life, they will be standing before the judge on their own. Everyone will be is answerable for themselves. You won't have anyone to speak up for you. You have to speak up for yourself. Be a man, be a woman, grow up, grow a pair, each and every one of you. So, like I said, this was 3 years ago. This is before these illegal evictions. So, where's my partner in all of this? I don't know. And that lady that's emailed me, I haven't responded. But thank you for that. Yes. So you said you've been watching me for a few years and you're from Lancashire. Um, it's okay. I'm just very wary about responding to people because people, especially people that I don't know, because Darren has had a threat. He said that someone went on his Facebook and threatened to cut his throat, saying, "If you hurt Bryony, I'll cut your throat, slit your throat, or something." So there are really dangerous nutters out there. But thank you. Yes, no, Darren should be with me. Yes, I know. And he's got his issues, and we've all got our issues, and it's good to have that space. And I'm just leaving it, as Darren said, all in the court of the Shalmayim. So I do go on for a bit talking to Dan. I haven't seen this for a few years. The only reason why I'm making this video is because he made a troll comment on my Facebook, and I thought, well, what the heck, I might as well just just you know what I mean, just whatever. I've already been talking for 50 minutes now, and this is just so boring. It's so pathetic. It's really just to make a point, to show you what he was like with me and how his own friend offered me help, then threatened me. And doesn't he seem like a nice guy? Doesn't he seem like he comes across as what's his name from the BT ads? Who was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit? What's his name? Bob Hoskins. It's good. It's good to talk. It's good to talk. Seems all friendly and that, doesn't he? Yeah. So what's happened to you, Dan? What's with all of this?
Thank you.
Keyboard hero.
I do appreciate it. Yeah, but the thing is, I ended up looking like someone that I'm not.
Troll
I've got like these
accounts.
decent
Calling me a
things.
nutter.
I'm worried that there are rats in the garage. I just couldn't. I'm such a particular. I wash things. I keep washing things and things like that. And my partner he's got similar problems. It's got to the thing is, we're quite similar, me and my partner. So
And I'm very careful about what I say about my partner because I'm happy to talk about myself very openly, but I want to be honest about my partner without embarrassing him, if that makes any sense. Even though I'm talking about emotional abuse and things I shouldn't be talking about with anyone, this is a cry for help. You know, it's survival and it's a cry for help.
I don't like to use the word sensitive, but I'm just trying to find, just simplify this sort of thing. Um, there are times, and I want to be careful with the words I use about my partner as well, because I want to be, I'm thinking of him as well. Okay, but take your time. If you need to think of the right words, it's not an issue. Take your time. Thank you, bless. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate this. Basically, there were times when this is going to sound so insane, and it is insane. It's ridiculous. And why I came to blows with my partner. There were times when he doesn't manage stress properly. He was, he was, as I say, he sort of, this is all very new to him. He didn't know what he walked into when he walked into my problems. He had a, and I don't want to, I'm going to be careful what I say about him as well. Um, um, I lost my mother. It became like a codependent relationship. So he was this carry on. But because he wouldn't admit, I know men don't talk about their mental health. They're not very good at talking. Some of them aren't. Ashamed, but that's why I'm always so open about mine. Because I want people to know that it's nothing to be ashamed of, and there are people that will talk if you just, there were people that would listen if you just open up and talk. Thank you. I really do appreciate it, because the thing is, we're both, me and my partner, it's just me and him, and people find it, strange. They don't understand, of course, and he just, there would be times in his flat. Now, I've got to be careful what I say. I don't want to embarrass him, even though I have told other people this. Right. Just remember, who you are. So,
I do now.
thank you. Thanks. I really appreciate. Yeah. Thank you. There have been times when he would,
Yeah, and his followers calling my partner a CUNT, inciting me to suicide in their Discord group, according to Paul, Warrior Wales. Anonymous calls, obscene phone call, Dan's troll account, or several troll accounts on YouTube and Facebook, uh, harassing the local MP, ringing the House of Commons. That's what this guy and his people have done. Yeah, it and these are grown adults. And his friend Tina Chave from the Independent Advice Network. Yeah, I know I sound like a broken record. Falsely offering me help, then threatening me in an email. You picked the wrong doormat when you think, oh, what a lovely sounding lady. This is what people think about Bryony. They think, oh, she's a lovely. I mean, dare I say this? I had it with Alan. Alan, whose father was a high-ranking Freemason. He had to an interceptor who stopped Princess Margaret from marrying Peter Townsend. He said, you're such a you're a lady, you're a true lady, and he knows real lords and ladies, the ones with those titles and things. People used to call me Princess because my grandmother was related to Anne Boleyn, but she adopted my mother, so I can't actually say I've got her blood. But that's why my middle name is Anna, because of Anne Boleyn. But no, no, there's no blue blood. There's nothing like that. But don't mess with a woman of Yahweh, because it's all up there, right? It's not me. It's not me that's got. It's the divine power, the divine intervention. Because I'm washed by the blood of Yeshua, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
It's so ridiculous. We'd end up having an argument over something really stupid, something really, really stupid, a disagreement. Yeah. And he would call the police. I know this sounds weird. And the thing is, this is where the emotional abuse comes in. It's insane. It is insane. And I don't want.
And this is not an attack on my partner, because what happened to Caroline Flack is really actually very similar. And they want to make a documentary about it. It's horrific what the papers did, what the media. This country is so screwed up. Caroline Flack took her own life, but she didn't want any harm to come to her partner, whom she had assaulted. But it's horrific. But this just goes, and she's bipolar. I don't like mental health labels. Stuart Goddard was diagnosed as bipolar, but I don't, like I said, I don't go in for labels. It's like Britney Spears was diagnosed with borderline personality, which is, we've all had that label. I've had that one. And also bipolar. But I already knew when she shaved the head. I knew that there was something else going on. That it was what we now know it is. Yeah, yeah. Those of us who do know, of course. Yes, Dan. So why did you call me a nutter? Why did you get your one of your troll accounts to call me a nutter? Cause you don't like yourself, but you obviously love watching me. Why would you, after all these years, get one of your Facebook accounts to call me a nutter? See, there you go. The evidence is here. You can go and listen to this for yourself. It's still on YouTube, it's what it should be. Or maybe I can share this video. Maybe I'll put it in a link in the description.
Oh, thank you so much for understanding. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your understanding. Because yes, I do worry about
Oh,
um,
oh.
uh, um, so thank you so much.
The
So
irony.
there is a time if he doesn't manage stress well, but I didn't realise he had so I'm trying to be protective. Um,
Well, the good thing is nobody protecting him, but obviously may have changed somewhat now. But
speaking out. So what I've done, I'll tell you what I've done. Sorry to butt in on this, really. What
I'll say it again. This is 2022 in the hotel.
I've learned over the last few years is, listen, I used to be like that. I used to fear talking to people. I used to fear certain things, speaking about certain things. What I've realised now is it makes no difference. So I mean, it's important to me. It's important to me. Therefore, it's important. It's relevant. Uh,
And I'll interject again, I didn't know that there were YouTube channels where people were, you know, it's it's insane. This guy has got selling merchandise, police abusing powers, like, and so many people are doing that. So instead of actually fixing the system, people are exploiting it for their own. They're actually using the corruption to advantage themselves. That's just cowardly. Then, but then it's like that man from Advance UK saying those things about, oh, Liam Tufts is, and I don't mean this rudely, because these men are, bald and a bit burly, like, and I don't mean that rudely, but really, because they talk like that. And I don't mean that rudely. It just makes me think of John Boy. But you, you, this man from Advance UK is saying, oh, they're all thugs, they're grifters, they're, Tommy Robinson and his criminal gang, and Liam Tufts sells sex toys for transgender people, and yet he's interviewed Kelly J. Keane, and Kelly J. Keane's people who should have supported me then turned funny with me. But I'm talking about that Irish woman, but it's just this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This is just alien to me. It's like, whoa, this is another world. It's all insanity within insanity, and exploitation within exploitation, because the UK police are filling their coffers with people having an opinion, and then you got people like him giving this idea that, oh, we're against them because they're not the real police, they're not being the police, but they're making money out of it, and then they're inciting me to suicide whilst the police have continued the corruption against me. I was saying to this lady yesterday, it was yesterday, I was saying, I thought I was going to be a political prisoner. I thought I was going to see the light of day again. England isn't England anymore. I said I'd probably be safer in the Middle East. I don't, really mean that, but I just paused that. I don't know if I just hang on a minute.
if somebody that I'm speaking to cannot think that, then you're not worth speaking to. That's the first thing. But I will always try and be. Yes, sometimes I try and save other people's feelings when I'm talking to them. But if I'm talking generally about the situation or about something, then I just say what's in my head. You can always apologise later. Okay? But you can't, if you don't say something, then more likely, or it's harder to get over not saying something that needs to be said than it is to apologise for something that is easy enough. I've got to be brutally honest today. I'm like, as you said, screw it, yeah. Yeah. Listen, thank you so much for understanding. I had a feeling you would understand. Um, um, yeah. But so I'm so glad I'm talking to the right person. But so basically, yeah, I
Takes a
Darren
while to get to know
brother
someone.
would sometimes call the police when we're kind of having an argument because he doesn't know how to manage his life.
They expose
And
themselves in
what
the
he
end.
explained to me, you've got to be very careful with him. He's very sensitive. He's got OCD, but he's autistic. And me and my big mouth, though, but you guys so brutally honest, and I've shared, I really, I'm not just saying this, I've shared my soul with him. People don't understand me when I say that I'm so close to my late mother. It was like, it was captain kind of thing. And the sort of thing that happened with Darren is not a normal sort of boyfriend girl relationship. Um, he's like a brother as well, and well, there's a lot of pressure. To rely on. Yeah, unfortunately, yes, it has gone that way. And there was the thing is, we were going around like blue ass flies around the town, as if saying, help me, going down all the avenues trying to get support. And the whole idea why he was supporting me was because I couldn't get the support, and I've been treated like dirt. I mean, I was trying to get help with my mental health for 25 years. Oh. And the system has failed me even then. I'm like thinking, what is it about me? That makes you think, is it me? Why don't people like, you know? So, yeah, and I just, in the end, I couldn't, everything just got so chaotic for me. I couldn't manage money or my, and you're trying to, the thing is, I was trying to find ways to escape. And
Can I just interject? What I also find really amusing is I remember at the time someone saying, "Oh, someone had said in the comments that not that I was paying attention to what was going on his end, but someone had said, "Oh, she's going on and on and on." But prior to me phoning, he said we haven't got anyone calling in tonight. That's how bored these people are, though. But this is what I mean. People show their true colours. I find it hilarious. They think, oh, she's so vulnerable. She's so, oh, she's going to be an easy target. And then they get a nasty shock. And they say, the real devil in them comes out because, then they're saying, oh, I hope she does suicide. I hope she does. I hope, but like I said, the true chosen ones. I've like I said, it's part of the therapy.
before that came along, so he's a very, very shy, quiet. Um, he's not like your. How can I say this? I'm trying to be as sweet as. Whoops! Oh, where's my screen gone? Oh, sorry, my screen. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm going to absolutely have to go to my chest. Thank you. There's quite a big age gap because he's 52. But if you were to look at him, we're very similar. We're very childlike. He looks like a boy. He's sweet.
And that's a
I really hope.
compliment to you,
I know it
Darren.
doesn't sound.
That is a
We're not
compliment
your
to you.
average people. We're very unusual people. Everyone's yeah. Um,
Darren, if you're watching, this is a compliment to you. everything that I say to these people, it doesn't matter who it is a compliment to you. You know, if I say you're like a boy, you know, people envy you because you look young, you look youthful, you're youthful in here. You know that you have to become like a child to get through the gates of the shower, my
Yeah. The thing is, we're very similar. We're not, we don't, we don't, I think, we don't, oh, me too. Oh, thank you so much. I'm, we haven't had much experience. I've had domestic violence almost immediately after my mother's funeral, and you know, people do take advantage, and you know, Darren's very sweet natured, and there you go, Darren. The thing is, I'm sorry,
That
I'm
is a
not allowed to use
compliment,
it here, so I get to the point.
and I mean
There,
every word.
sometimes there would be times in his flat where he would call the police when we had. He wouldn't let me. I wasn't allowed to touch anything. I mean, he gave me a biscuit with a wet wipe, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh. Um, but
Only said with
I'm happy
humour.
with him. I feel able to say to him, you know, I feel able to say to him, I can, I can say any, I can really be myself. I can actually be quite rude, and I use, you know, really bad language that isn't in my vocabulary. And I think people see me as this, you know, lady, I'm a bit of a snob maybe, but I'm not. In fact, behind closed doors, you know, only Darren has seen the real me. I'm not a monster, but I feel comfortable with him. I can be me. But I'm really not joking and right when
Well,
I
this is the way I talk to
I'm not
anyone.
like toxic at all or anything.
This
Oh
is me.
dear, oh dear, you put that toxic there. You know, some people say this is controlling behaviour. I really don't know. I really do not. I've been going absolutely out of my mind over this because I'm not joking. Every, nearly every time he calls the police, they I think every time he called the police, I can't actually remember off my how many times and off my head, but they would arrest me. I've done nothing wrong.
And bearing in mind that when I was locked out of my flat, I had so this Dan's people in his live chat have referred to my partner as a CUNT, and then so did that great big fat dirty thug, well, PC McCarthy. Apparently, he was called PC McCarthy as well. I should have got his badge number because that fat dirty thug beat me and assaulted me all night long in handcuffs in A&E. Oh, but it's for your own safety. Yeah, just like the lethal them are. That's what that weirdo who on the desk in A&E who expected me to know her name, Mandy, this receptionist in A&E. Oh, well maybe it was for your own safety. I just said to her, do you think it's normal to be locked out of your flat on news that your father has died? And this big fat dirty thing. Well, you know, like I said, Andy Camfield, the Lansdowne hotel manager, who was on the local ITV news because my eldest sister's friend was on the local ITV news, Louise, about him defrauding people, and he called head of police. He said we get complaints about that place all the time, and he calls the head of police, and then he's in prison for 7 years. I was in my nightwear, and then the thugs are beating me in A&E. Called and PC Ford, who's He's got he's got a YouTube troll account called I can't remember what he said, but he was playing my YouTube videos to torment me whilst they had me on my back in handcuffs. These people should be in prison. Section what is it? 1998, the criminal, is it section 135 of the Criminal Justice Act 1988, that public servants, including police officers, can serve up to life in prison for torture. But as Richard Inman said, that would just open up the floodgates, because this is happening to a lot of innocent English and British people. So, this is the reality, folks. You know, you want to see what's really going on? Listen to someone like me.
Disagree with him. You know, one time we were having an argument, and I mean, even John Alexander Patterson said that, you know, arguments all the time, couples argue all the time. They keep arresting people every time there's a disagreement. Otherwise, my gosh, say gosh.
You know, I don't think my parents ever involved the police. You know, domestic abuse back in the eight, even in the 80s, it was normalised. Not that I'm saying it's right, but police never turned up for anything. People just got on with life. So yeah, it's just one great big embarrassment. All of it, the whole everything.
I'm not a violent person, but I'm no different to anyone else when it comes to that. But the first time it was horrendous. The police threw me down on my back, crying my eyes out, and my eyes, I was kind of so up, I couldn't see. Threw me on my back on his sofa. Of course, that's going to escalate everything as well. Of course it is. And the guy was getting in my face, the police officer, and he was like domestic abuse all over it. He was getting on his face. You're foaming at the mouth. You're like, and Darren looked a little bit. Did you have to do that though? You know, he was sort of like, the other one was more mousy than the other police officer. He looked distressed by the other one's actions. Right. The thing is though, happened more than once. So to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if he's got mates in the police. It's absolutely made a lot of sense. I don't know. It's just all part of the insanity. I was put in a number of times they put me at this crisis centre. I've been there, I don't know how many times. I've joked about them even having bedrooms, bless me. But the thing is, I was eventually evicted from the private rented flat. I couldn't cope. I don't know if my partner is a little bit scared of me, because this is where it all gets completely messy. In February 2016, I kept having these leaks that became a problem because they're actually acted as a camper, really. They were going through to the hair salon below me, right. And it was something to do with the washing machine and the pipes in the wall or something or other. And Darren just said, "I'm sorry, Bryony, it's the leak." And I said, "That's it." I threw my arms up in the air. I had enough. And that's when in February 2016, I went down to the psychiatric unit. I was nervously buzzing on the door, the way I do, in my natural state, no one's ever wanted to support me. So then I went into sort of, I don't know how to describe it, like overdrive of sort of, right, that's it, what do I do? And then something
It's
screamed at me.
frustration. It's frustration.
Yeah,
It can make us all do things that we wouldn't normally do.
yeah.
But before I carry on, I just had to find something out in the chat. I just want to respond to that.
Right. So,
Your mind. So at this point, at exactly 2 hours and 43 minutes in, that Dan has just affirmed me by saying, it's frustration. Wait for it. He's about to have a go at the very people that he's passed to my YouTube channel to harass me in his own Discord group, where they've said, oh, according to Paul, Warrior Wales, oh, I hope she does suicide. Incitement to suicide. So, so what's going, so this is at this point. So I'll remind you again, the name of the title of the video. I'll put a link in the description when I finally uploaded this video that I'm making. Thursday Night Live with Calling, police abusing powers, 2,250 views. Oh no, it was 3 years ago. Yes, it was 3 years ago. Yeah, 2022, when I was self-funding the Cavendish Hotel for my safety. Because basically I was a victim of, I thought that they were going to kill me, basically. I had my bedroom window smashed and all these things were happening. So it's at this point, 2 hours, 43 minutes in, he's about to have a go at his own people in, because I can't see what he can. I wasn't looking at his live chat. This is a live call in. I wasn't paying any attention to what people were saying in his live chat. So just wait for it. Listen.
If somebody phones in and they want to talk to somebody, I will sit here and listen to them. Okay? It's not about what's their bloody point. Okay? Their point is they need to speak to somebody. So
Exactly.
that's why I've timed you out. I prefer it if you come back in the room, if you come back in the chat, and it's a little bit more respectful. I don't want to delete people from the channel. Will do if I get people taking the piss out of people that are phoning up. This
Yeah.
kind of situation.
Yeah.
So
So Dan, why, after 3 years, have you trolled me from a Facebook account calling me a nutter? Yeah, I'll have the last laugh here, but I just wanted to. I thought I might as well make a point here.
I know I do bang on a bit sometimes, and I'm trying. Sorry, I know.
don't apologise. Don't apologise. Not you at all.
Bless you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. For me, it is all. This is what I mean. Other people don't understand, but it's all relevant to all the hell that's happened.
Of course.
Because honestly, I've been left on my own. The other things have happened, and obviously I haven't.
Oh yeah,
And I don't want to.
oh yeah, and I forgot. In the summer, a few months ago. So this is after. This was pending whether Brian E. McCarthy is going to be a political prisoner or not, care of Eastbourne Police. I had the welfare officer in this room, if you go back a few YouTube videos, PC Ian Williams and his colleague were in this room. I got them to sit over there and they investigated one of the hotel guests in this hotel for sexual harassment of me. he, it's one of those things. People take advantage. And I was wearing it. He came to, and I said, on this occasion, I had a towel wrapped around me, and he was trying to come into my room. In fact, on one occasion, this guy did come into my hotel room, and he did touch me, and I was saying, I told you I've got a partner, and he accused me of pushing him. He pretended to fall on the floor, and he was just being stupid. But according to the manager, he apparently he said he pissed the bed, so he was drunk. So this is what I mean, though. You don't. People could seem very friendly at first, and then very quickly they show their true colours. But PC Ian Williams was there when the police thug that I was just talking about, uh, PC McCarthy and the bald-headed thug PC Ford, horrifically physically and verbally abused me all night long in A&E. So you're not even safe in an NHS hospital with the UK police. You're not safe anywhere. That's why this country is very close to civil war. And I mean, we're being deadly serious. I mean, I've been following Paul Thorpe. He asked me if I wanted his help. He's become a bit of a celebrity in the freedom movement. There's so much going on, so much going on. But so this is what I'm talking about. Who is and who isn't genuine? But PC Ian Williams, I said to him in this hotel room a few months ago, I said, "Oh, I've seen the YouTube channel of Gem269. She's an amazing young lady. She's an animal rights activist. My late mother fought to get fox hunting banned. You know how I said she did that scene with Sam Neill in Wimbledon? Well, she used her class to mock these Luciferian fox hunter psychopaths. You know how they love, Satanists love the colours red, black, and white. That's why they wear these colours, and the red for the because they're blood. They just love blood. They love blood. Now, anyone who knows anything, and I mean anything, about what Luciferians get up to, Satanists, this is what it's all about. The royals. Kate Middleton has got her own children. They're all hypocrites. Even Princess Diana apparently made out she didn't like hunting, but she still joined in with it. So they're all the same, these aristocrats. But so my mother, what I'm trying to say is she fought to get fox hunting banned, and Gem269. This is a big shout out, by the way, to Gem269. I think it's amazing what you do. I wish I was a vegetarian. I it's just so crazy because I remember my happy childhood. I knew a farmer who was like a grandfather to me, and he took me round the back of where his cottage was to show me the cows being milked with those sucker things that they put on the teats. It's not natural, and it's actually really cruel what happens to the poor mothers of the calves that are taken away nearly immediately after birthing their calves are taken away. And it is so traumatic and distressing for the mother and the calf. It's just a horrible, horrible, horrible industry. And the free range egg thing, barn eggs. I used to think that chickens that were born in barns were free to roam around. It's all BS. Which you see what actually goes on in barns and how these poor, poor animals And we also are empoisoning ourselves with the hormones of the trauma we're ingesting their we're taking in their trauma when we our bodies are temples, biblical foods. I'm going off on a tangent here, but my father got me eating shellfish. I still remember that Collins pocketbook of even said, go and have a look at my love note to me, go and have a look at my favourite shellfish on page whatever. Now, I loved eating whelks. Because of Darren, I've stopped eating. For the past 10 years, I don't eat bacon, pig, any pig, right? There's a reason why the Bible says you must not eat these foods. Anything with a cloven hoof. So when my mother during the war wrote that book, Sally and Her Rabbit, and she painted these beautiful pictures, she was eating rabbits. She mustn't eat rabbits, mustn't eat shellfish. Dustman of the ocean. Your body is a temple. So I've gone off on a tangent, massive tangent. Where am I going with this? So, I'm sorry, I've just gone from one thing to the next. I was talking about this animal rights activist, the welfare officer, PCE and Williams. I have seen evidence of him in Lewes, which is where the Boxing Day, that pagan festival that I don't celebrate anymore. They do a hunt on Boxing Day, and it's supposed to be illegal because my mother did not fight to get fox hunting banned so that they can go and do a Boxing Day hunt. And this very brave woman, as I said, she's a young woman. She's an animal rights activist. I've seen footage of what the UK police have done to her. She's so intelligent and articulate and knows all these big words, and and she's I wouldn't use the language that she has used, but it's strong very strong language, but it's understandable because of how she's being tortured by them. But she knows so much about the law, whereas I don't. This is still all very new to me. But I said to PC Ian Williams when he knocked on this door, because he was here because I was in distress because my partner had assaulted me back in the summer and I didn't know what to do. I was distressed. They took it seriously, the hotel guest that sexually harassed me. And I said, well, you need to investigate your own officers. He said, I said to PCE and Williams, I said, I've lost respect for you, not least because I was beaten and injured all night long, handcuffs on my back. This is what is happening to innocent people everywhere, all the time in the UK. We have got political prisoners in this country right now. We've all heard of Lucy Connolly. I mean, Donald Trump seems more concerned about people like me than Starmer. I tell you what, when you're with a Scottish woman who is bellowing at the top of her lungs, Keir Starmer's a wanker, at the top of her lungs, and bellowing through the streets of London, and you've got crowds of people making way for you because you've got a mobility scooter, and she's bellowing, "Make way!" You feel like you've got a horse and carriage and royalty, and everyone's like, "What, ma'am?" You know. Where am I going with this? But yeah, no, it's just so crazy everything that's going on in this country. So this welfare officer, I said to him, look, I saw you on YouTube arrest That animal rights activist, she's not even from Sussex. But I saw you arrest her, and I'm already aware of this. It's such a small world. When I was up at London Victoria the other day, I looked at a young man I immediately recognised, and he gave me a knowing look because I recognised him from YouTube in Brighton. He's a young man who's come out of prison, and he's now a preacher. He preaches the word in the most ungodly, most fallen part of the UK. And his American preacher said Brighton is like hell on earth, basically, because of the you know what that goes on in Brighton. This is just Brighton was mine and my sister's favourite place to go. It's very I don't say left and right because I'm but left and right, it's all about division. We are living in the last days. But like I said, the welfare officer, I said to him, I witnessed you arresting, and I said, it's there for the world to see. You are arresting an animal rights activist whom me and the rest of the world who's watching YouTube can see that this woman from the traveller community has grabbed her hair, and she's a grandmother, and she's got her grandchild in a buggy, and she's assaulting this young girl, this brave animal rights activist, and you're arresting her. Do you want to hear my side of it? No, I don't, PC Ian Williams, because you were one of the few people, the few police officers, well, actually, you were one out of two, one of whom recently assaulted me, well, last year, over a parcel, along with PC, what's his name? PC Howard May, EB334, who sexually assaulted me with PC Mufali as a rape victim. So this sweet, quiet, caring welfare officer that was here in the summer, do you want to hear my side of it? He did nothing when I had been beaten and assaulted and given X. Well, don't worry, I was in the right place to get an X-ray though. I was in bloody A&E. Oh, I had a ripped shirt and a broken mobile phone. They ripped my shirt and broke my phone, and he said, "Oh, maybe you could just get a needle and thread." This is how pathetic they are. So this is what I've been through. But I had to get them to ensure that I wasn't going to be a political prisoner. I got a pithy text message from a PC Wenham, a female, saying, "We're sorry for what we've put you through." What, whole groups of you grabbing me, throwing me on my back, arresting me after I turned down a voluntary interview. I've got it on my laptop and it's also on my YouTube channel. So I've got the evidence of this because I refused to call my sister a man over a civil matter, false allegations, and even if they were true, it's actually written in law, as the black belt barrister said, that we have freedom of expression to be offensive. It's actually written in law that as part of our freedom of expression, we can be offensive. But I wouldn't be offensive to my sister because I love her. But the thought police, they had this boy on the desk who was asking me about my love for my sister. So let's just get through the rest of this.
Your channel talking about me, but other things have happened since then that have made me.
And other things have happened since then, when this was made 3 years ago. Everything that I've just said.
I'll put it this way. I don't know who the worst. If my partner has been abusing me, well, it's like who's the worst criminal in this? Because what the police have um, what happened was, so Darren, there's the thing with Darren where he doesn't know. The psychiatric unit put me through hell, and I tell you, I saw a lot behind, there's a lot that, as I said, that's another, like tens of words that I won't open up, but basically, the people that sort of are paid to help and support me have actually added to the problem, added to the trauma. The council put me in temporary accommodation, and wow, I've seen an awful lot. And one of these things I wanted to say was I'm self-funding a hotel right now again for my safety because I've had a whole year of being attacked and bullied in my council accommodation. I've had my bedroom window smashed, vandalism, assault, you name it. And the council has just like this is where I'm at now. Because a lot has happened since then. So it's like I won't say the name of this person, even though you know all my details. Someone from Brighton Housing Trust told me to go to the local government ombudsman for compensation because they kept apparently they've been putting a lot of homeless people in police cells. And the council would illegally discharge duty to me just for simply complaining about bedbugs crawling on me, leaks, people bullying me. It's been such an eye opener. I can't tell you. I've attempted suicide quite a few times. Stabbed myself through the arm with a 6-inch knife. My mental health has been unraveling. In one of these hotels, I ended up lashing out at Darren, which is completely out of character for me, but then it's been building up over a lifetime, and, and it's always the person that cares about you the most you take it out on.
And frustration,
Exactly,
I just want to
Dad.
say, you just said something really important.
That's what I say all the
Tried to hurt
time.
yourself, and you stabbed yourself in the arm.
The very troll.
I just want to, just because you said that, and I think it's really, really brave of you to say that. I've
Yes.
got, I don't know if you can see, if you can.
See? Did you hear that? I think it's really brave of you to say that. Shall I replay that for you, Dad? There you go.
Important. You said that you tried to hurt yourself, and you stabbed yourself in the arm with a knife. Now, I just want to, just because you said that, and I think it's really, really brave of you to say that.
I think it's really, really brave of you to say that. I hope the sound comes out when I play this back.
But I don't know if you can see, if you can see the screen. I've got a scar here, quite a big scar. Might not be able to see it too well. Quite a big scar there. My eldest boy's mum also made me feel like everything was my fault. And we had an argument one night, and I went out, and I had to go for a walk. I'm walking along the same front where I come from, and there was a bottle. I picked the bottle up and I smashed it on the seat wall, and then I proceeded to tear my arm open with a broken bottle. Okay. Because, and I'll tell you why, it's because it made me feel in control at that point. I felt like I needed to be punished because of how I was made to feel by my own.
And I think actually hearing that, even though of who it's coming from and how they've behaved, um, I do actually think that that is probably something that men. I could be wrong, but they might because men need to feel in control. Just generally speaking, I mean, I'm being fair here because obviously, the only reason why I'm making this video is, like I said, it doesn't bother me one way or the other, but I might as well. I wasn't going to make this video based on just, oh, it's a troll comment. I'm going to make one great big video about this person. No, because it's good to, let's just put the truth out there. It's not tit for tat. Clearly, I'm not that sort of a person. I just like, well, Ephesians 5:11 have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of evil, but rather expose them. And that's what I'm doing. I'm showing things for what they really are. And I'm just doing it but I do it naturally.
And I felt that by doing that, I was punishing myself, and I'll be able to get more views. You know what I mean? So listen, we'll do stupid things. No, we'll do stupid things. Or because we lose control through stress, anxiety, and frustration.
And by the way, I will never ever harm myself again. Like I said, I take, people said don't feel bad about, it's not, people say it's not your fault that Darren has got this injury to his hand where he snatched a knife from me, and it makes me cringe. It really makes me cringe. It makes me, I do feel responsible for it because it hurts me. It hurts me. If Darren is hurt, I'm hurt. And I do feel responsible for it. So even if people do say it's not your fault, I need to hear that. But I do feel responsible for it. Because before I stabbed myself, before I went on to stab myself, Darren had snatched a knife from me. He's got an injury, a horrible injury to his tendons. I know it's cringeworthy, it's horrible. And I'm praying, Darren, I want you to know I'm praying all the time for you, for your healing, and for Bronya. I want you to know that. And that I love you no matter what. You and Bronya, you could have done something terrible. You could have tried to get me into trouble. You could have, no matter what, no matter what. We're supposed to love our enemies. Just think how much I love you and Bronya. I just want to say that. I pray I pray for the healing of your bodies and your souls as if you were me. You know? Just want you to know that. I want you to know that.
Years, I wore jumper all the time because that was so prominent on my arm. I never wear a t-shirt. I'd done that when I was in early 20s, 22 I think I was, 21, 22. And I must have been nearly 30 by the time I started wearing t-shirts again because I was embarrassed by it. But now it's part of me, it's part of my life, and it's part of what got me to where I am now. I'm not proud of it, don't get me wrong, but I've done it. I can't hide the fact that I've done it. I'm not going to lie about it. Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that because I think you're a strong fan of said, and
There you
well
go.
done you for saying that.
Thank
But
you.
I
I'm
just
sorry for you.
He just said, he just said, I think you're incredibly strong saying that. So there you are, Warrior Wales, Paul. Yes, he did say that. So as you said to me on Facebook, why would he get one of his troll accounts to randomly out of the blue after 3 years say, oh, you're a nutter. There you go.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I'm very blessed. Thank you. I just I tell it how it is. For me, there's always going to be a part of me that will be seeking attention, and I feel awful that I made Darren see that. But a few months earlier, he snatched. Oh, it makes me cringe ran out to the hotel, and I feel horrible about it, all of this. Horrible. I feel I put him. And I ran out of there. The hotel didn't want me. I ran into the sea. It was almost in a comical way, because you can look at the funny side of the black, kind of black comedy. There's a PC in a
Well,
car,
not that.
my surname, and PC, Mark Victor were there, and
Now, when I say look at the funny side, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the knife things. There's never anything funny about that, not even black comedy. I'm going on to talk about something else. Just want to make that clear. I want to make that absolutely clear that for all the humour over everything, not these injuries, no. I've never ever loved anyone like I love Darren, apart from my mother. I want to make that absolutely clear. Because even if Darren had done the devil's work and had done something like said nefarious, done nefarious things and said disparaging things about me and tried to get me into trouble or do whatever, it doesn't matter, because this is real love, okay? Because it comes from the one Darren strengthened my faith. He encouraged me and my faith. I realised that I was so lost and so as far away from Yeshua than I could ever be, and I thought I thought I was a Christian, which doesn't mean anything. Try a woman of Yahweh in training.
and I it did look mad, and I was praying and running to the sea, and only about 2 meters out, and the lifeguards pulled me in, and I
Yeah,
did something.
that's the bit that I said mean as a comedy thing, because I'd only gone out about 2 meters into the water, into the sea. The sea did come up to about here at one point, so it was about this level. So it was still deep, but it was a sort of like a Simpsons moment, because the RNLI, my mother used to my mother's friend's husband used to work on the lifeboats and she used to support them. Of course, now they're helping illegal immigrants, aren't they? But the RNLI got a dinghy to pull me in like 2 meters. But I had an audience. I was aware that there were people watching me, but that's not why I held my arms up and I called out to Abba Yahweh. Now, I didn't tell Dan that because that's, I didn't say that on this live phone in, but um, I was they called for an ambulance, but Darren had run out with bleeding everywhere. There was blood everywhere, and he was the one who needed an ambulance. And I was told, if you don't get those clothes off, we'll have to take them off you because we don't want you to get hypothermia. It was September, and I had run into the sea, you know, adrenaline, So, but this is what the stress does. Nobody's doing bugger all, but that's the problem in this country. All of this could have been avoided. None of this should happen, but it only happens to decent people. Crime pays in this country. The criminal justice system, yeah. If you're a criminal, you get all the protection. This is something that I've learned. You imagine being a rape victim like me who's got a fear of being in a closed in space. They put me in a cell in Serco, the human trafficking global scam, their van, they put me in a cell the size of a chair. I had to pray so hard. I was absolutely terrified. They made me feel like I was some dangerous child serial killer. It was so frightening. And those youngsters, they look like children with batons and helmets. The what do you call them? The riot police. It is like being in a never-ending nightmare. You know, like when my mother woke me up in the middle of the night, or the early hours when I was a 7 year old. She said, we're getting on a plane and we're going to New York and then we're going to Walt Disney World. She put it in the photograph album next to a picture of me. Bronya took the picture. Bryony says, I hope this is, I hope don't wake up to find this is all just a dream. Well, this is the opposite. This has been like a never ending nightmare. All of this.
Oh my gosh, what were you? I don't know why, but I find my top half. Yeah, but I don't know. I'll be right. I don't know. I was in a state of just. It makes you go mad. The state of stress, and I don't know why I did that. I had a grey top on, whatever. But I look back I'll be walking around town sometimes, and I'll come over all like just like the shame, and then you think, oh my gosh, and I'll put my head in my hands. It's sheer desperation. So, but I did lash out at Darren, but only because, and I scarred him one time. I scarred him lashing out because purely because of
Yeah, I've been very honest. I've been very honest. I've said how I lashed out at Darren. I've, you know, but I've opened up so much of myself more to Darren than I have anyone ever. Not, second to my mother. Um, but then when he actually had me arrested just for disagreeing with him, that's that's the confusion. That is like that then perpetuates the anger and the lashing out and trying to have that self control. But it's like, well, hang on a minute. This is a person that I've opened up to, I've shared everything with, and now is this why he took a caring role for me? Because I didn't lash out at Darren before he took a caring role for me. But this is Caroline Ansell's fault. This is the former MP for Eastbourne. It's her fault. It's her office. It's the local authorities because they scapegoated him. They gave Darren a caring role for me, even though I've been a paid carer. Banned him from visiting me in the psychiatric unit. I was telling this woman, Kim, yesterday, I was saying, they don't turn up for appointments and they put on your record that you're not engaging. They give your partner a caring role and then ban him from visiting you. That's enough to F with anyone's head. And she was smiling and nodding when I was telling her. It's just absolute.
that he called the police on me.
Oh,
For disagreeing or touching his kettle, and it's so to me, Bridie, I never asked the police to arrest you. So
see,
it's
yeah.
when it's now it's the thing of who's the worst enemy because um
thing is, and this is what Dan didn't seem to understand, is it's not an episode as such. It is a set of circumstances that have been going on for years. And this is why I said to Dan, I had a clutter problem, I'd lost my mother, I'd had rape. It wasn't attempted rape, it was actual rape. Because I said to this Kim yesterday, I said, I've looked up the definition. Without being graphic, rape doesn't have to mean involving the body parts of intercourse. I don't want to, you know, I don't need to spell it out. But I'm a rape victim. I'm an actual victim. So, but this has been leaks. This has been exploitation. This has been abuse. It's not just an episode. I mean, I don't like labels, but I'm not bipolar. So this is what you need to understand. These episodes, as Dan calls it, are only happening because of what has been happening, the stress, the trauma. That's obviously not to say that I wouldn't still, but I've never stabbed myself before. Darren said, oh, this was happening before I came along. No, it wasn't. So this is what I'm trying to say.
Their sole centre of attention.
This is why people, when the number of times I've had people say to me, have you got a such and such a worker? Have you got a support worker? Have you got a social worker? Have you got? I've got nothing, no one. I had to tell the crisis team. The crisis team, I had a cancer patient with me. See the crisis team because of how they've abused me, because I've been horrifically physically and mentally abused, assaulted. And I'm someone who's done paid care work. I could have got a child to help me. Oh, Bryony, I don't think you should have a cancer patient. This is not the best place for Juliet. I said, I don't need you to tell me that. I said, Juliet is here because you won't help me. The nerve of it, the absolute audacity to tell me that I shouldn't have a cancer patient in A&E with me who is there for me because to support me because they're not helping me. But then the Caroline Ansell, the local MP, I'm her constituent. I'm Josh Burundi's constituent. Supposed to be a Christian. She's not even doing her job to stop and correct what they're paid to do. They serve us. It's not the other way round. We're their constituents. They're there to serve us, the people, their constituents, to stop and correct. They're not even being a Christian, though. Oh, it's not my problem. Oh, you know, you could call yourself anything, and it wouldn't make any difference.
You know, like get all the rest of it.
You see, I think Dan has got it into his mind that I have episodes when I've just been trying to tell him I've I've basically fled a room in a council HMO where I think they're going to kill me and the police are arresting me. I've got evidence of a hate. I've still got all this criminal evidence on my YouTube channel. I've got a recording of one of the vile A&A contractors calling me an effing spastic, which is a hate crime. I mean, God help them if I was like my sister identifying as a man, because that A&A contractor would be in prison by now. You see, it's just You see? But this is why my mother didn't want to come back to this country because she said, everybody moans and no one does anything. And that would have been back in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, she was having the time of her life back in the 50s and 60s when she worked at sea, you know, walking barefoot in on Calgary, getting a nose job done. Because I used to wonder why my mother didn't look like me, because she had a Canadian nose job back in the 60s. It was literally advertised as no noses going cheap, something like that. Yeah, and meeting all these famous people, Harry Belafonte, while she worked at a gas station in America. You know, when A-listers were A-listers. Yeah, she didn't want to come back here because people moan and no one does anything. There's so much jealousy. And I'm proving it. Yeah.
And suffering with that, which makes things worse. Any incident where there is a prospect of a mental health episode, okay, should be dealt with a trained mental health professional, even if they have any people that are trained specifically in mental health to deal with it, but don't turn up in uniform because that puts, that puts people on the back foot. Turns up and talks to you like a human being and tries to get to the bottom of the problem of how you're feeling. If you don't get that, just let the police turn up and they go fucking knock it on themselves for the night and then go home again.
I have never once, you know what,
Yeah.
I've used the language to Darren, I've used some really nasty language to describe him, but you know, because of how I've been brought up,
And I'm just so sorry to my partner. I've given him some of it, my angles aimed at him, but I took out so much more. And I never use the word hate, but I hate the fact that I did that. I don't hate anybody because I'm not a hateful person. I don't even hate the police, the thugs that did this to me. I don't hate the landlady. I don't hate anyone. But yet she said, "Oh, Darren, she's a very hateful person." And I just thought this person is so mentally ill. I don't hate anyone. What I do hate, and I never use the word hate unless if I do use the word hate, I'm talking about the emotions of the thing I'm talking about, never a person. I hate all of this. This is what I hate. All of this, what I'm talking about. And we always hurt the people. It's always the people that we love that we hurt. And I think it's because we expect so much them to save us all the time. We give them everything. We give them, yeah. So when they hurt us, Darren and I feel more than the average person. I wouldn't be with Darren if I didn't think he felt as intensely as I do. It's all very, very intense. Intense, that's what it is. So anyway.
you know, very much he assaulted me, and it's Darren that I end up getting angry with because I know, it's not normal, Darren, to call the police over an argument, and we're not deluded, crazy people. It's just he doesn't know how to manage stress. And I said to him, it's not normal. And I said to him, you do realise that coercive control is taken very seriously by the police now. The thing is, though, in the last few years, I've done everything the right way. When I've had problems in my council accommodation, I've complained to the council and whatever. And unfortunately, I've learned that there are some nasty. Uh, I've been the victim of their of the corruption because every time I've complained, they've illegally discharged interim housing duty to me. Um, Even when I spoke on behalf of other licensees, like there was a woman covered in a Filipino couple, and they was one of them was covered in bed bug sores. Oh, sorry, my thing is cut out, and and so basically, so this housing officer said to me, "Oh, don't worry, I've had I've had bipolar, I've been homeless, and etc." But behind my back, he was typing up these fraudulent Section 184s, saying that I broke the things that I complained about, and even the plumber said, "Oh, don't worry, the washer on the tap has gone. It's not your fault because I put a bit of pressure on the tap and the thing came off, and the place was falling apart. Some of these places are, dilapidated buildings, but I became everywhere I was going. I became what would you call it? The scapegoat. Is that where? Um, yeah, and so many people taking advantage of my good nature, like this mother and daughter. When I told them about my mother had died, oh dear, oh you poor thing and all that. And I'm now paying storage for other people's clutter because she threw in an incontinence pad in a hospital towel with upwards jump. What had happened was that changed the lock, and then in February 2018, I go up to Beachy Head with a duvet, suicidal, going, so I'm mentally unwinding, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I haven't seen Darren's parents or heard from them, and at the start of our
Then you wonder why a person is having episodes. So this is what I mean. I didn't have episodes before people started taking advantage. No, I had a normal life. I did paid care. My life was easy when I did paid care work. When I lived at home with my mother, I had a life. It's called having a life. Now, I thought that's something that Darren wanted. Now, like I said, I don't know what's happened, but Darren comes along, I lose the flat that I was in for 7 years struggling. Someone could have come in and helped me with the OCD. It wouldn't be a problem. So this is not episodes, right? I don't have bipolar.
relationship, we very nearly moved in together. Darren's mother said, oh, it's like he was sent to you and you two can have a nice life together. So but I'm now in my mind, I've got this scenario going on where I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is he a covert narcissist? Because people are saying, oh, he's emotionally abusing you. But then he's telling me, I'm going around and telling people, why won't anyone help Blimey? I'm trying to get you help. Um, so I'm sort of, it's like, my worst, this is like something out of the night, my worst nightmares have come
That's what I
true
was
here.
saying.
It's like, and just, I know how this is going to sound, but there's been a sort of, how can I say, I'm trying to say this without, I'm trying to, there are no right words to use for this. There's been what seems to be a bit of a smear campaign because I've been very honest about my experiences to all and sundry in the council and everything. Um, and in one of these accommodations that I was put in, because I mean, I've been mentioned in the Herald newspaper twice. Once in 2018, I was reported missing in the summer, missing woman running psychiatric unit because they didn't want to help me, and neither did the council, etc. Neither did the power advocate or anyone. And so I went and slept in a field near my mother's ashes. I was really out of my mind. Sussex police contacted my father, whom I haven't seen since I was 12.
Yeah.
And there's a violent history there. It's very painful thing. So I sort of had an early midlife crisis, and then I was called into the Joint Information Desk, and two police officers, and I don't mind saying their names, Arthur Piccini and Easy Turnbull, they said we've got to take you back to the psychiatric unit. And I still got this really old-fashioned 1950s idea that, oh, they're there to comfort you, and, are you all right, they handcuffed me, and they actually, I can't believe they did this, they dragged me through Hyde Garden backwards in handcuffs, hurting me, so my arms above my head. One woman who works in the steamer trading, she's looking through the window going, oh, and I'm actually crying out for help, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these people think I'm a criminal or something. And they waited for the police car, and I got up to their faces and I said, would you do this to your daughter? Would you do this to your child? Would you do this to your mother? And one of them pushed me to the police and said, get away. And since then, he's called me an idiot. And I've never, ever verbally abused them or anything. But I can now see what, in some of these cases, there are people who've been to prison, criminals and that, and they said, one man said to me, oh, you're the ones that your entire life, you spend your whole life being a nice person, and you're the one with the knife, you're stabbing someone with, and you've lost control. But me, I've been a criminal all my life, and I know how to play the system, and blah, blah, blah. I just feel that I've fallen into this really, by accident, just really simply begging for a bit of help with this and that. And I've been treated like I'm the worst person on the planet. And as I said, I wanted to get to, I know I've been talking for a long time, and I didn't want to take up your thing, but because I want to get to the sort of the main.
Well, you've got something on your chest, you need to get it off your chest, okay? And that's what that's what I'm doing here. That's part of the reason I do the live stream, so people can phone up and talk. I mean, I've been on these live streams. Well, I think it may have only been once. I wasn't there since. There were just people watching. Jason, remember? Nostos Paranormal, remember? I was in such a bad place, and I wanted to do myself in. And the only way I could think of not doing it is to come on here on a live stream. So I came on here on a live stream, absolutely bawling my eyes out, felt like an absolute wet wipe. As I say, they'll tell you, look, Princess Thatcher remembers it, Carmen Smith remembers it, because I felt that I needed help and I wasn't getting any. And, the help that I needed was somebody to talk to. And I found a group of people within my community who will listen. Okay, they might not be able to help, but they'll listen. And that I find that so important. I think that to give somebody time is the most important thing, is the most valuable thing in this world.
Yeah.
Okay, and for somebody to not donate their time, but for somebody to put some of their time aside for somebody else is one of the most is one of the nicest and the best things you can do for anybody. But,
It means so much to me what you're doing right now. I'll say you have no idea what you're trying to do. You absolutely understand, because I was feeling suicidal earlier.
right.
I've been like, I mean, I don't want to see my next birthday coming up. 40 is meant to be this, no late notice of age.
Right, now I'm going to interrupt you there. I'm not going to let you talk, but I'm going to interrupt you there. You're saying about not wanting to see your next birthday. There's a lot of people in this chat now that would be really pissed off with you if you weren't around to see your next birthday. Because this is what Martin is talking about. Okay.
Oh, well,
If you
that's
know what's come on
interesting.
the phone,
Right, Dan. So there would be a lot of people who would be pissed off if I didn't see my next birthday. So why did Warrior Wales tell me? Why did Warrior Wales tell me that in the Discord group you were all talking about wanting me to suicide? That is incitement. That's a form. If I had suicided and Paul had reported that, you could have been done for manslaughter. And that is your police abusing powers Discord group? That was around my next birthday. Because all night long on my birthday in A&E, on my 41st birthday, so that's a year after this, I was so badly physically and verbally beaten and abused by the police. Dr. Singh said to me at the beacon practice, did I take photographs? Now, I'm not going to talk about that, but I have just been making baby steps to get myself. So I'm registered with a GP and a dentist. I haven't been to a dentist for years. I've got decay up there. So I am, because I was finding it difficult to register again. So I'm making a very tiny baby steps. But yeah. So I find that very interesting. Do you want me to replay that for you? Just a reminder to you, Dan, and your vile, just just might as well.
I mean, I don't want to.
So the point where you said there would be people here who wouldn't want you to suicide.
I'm going to let you talk, but I'm going to interrupt you there. You're saying about not wanting to see your next birthday. There's a lot of people in this chat now that would be really pissed off with you if you weren't around to see your next birthday. Because this is what.
And then a whole year later, in the Discord group, allegedly, according to Paul Warrior Wales, they wanted me to suicide.
Okay. Now you've come on the phone and you phoned in. You're part of the community now. So tough luck. Whether you like it or not. We're part of the community now, and there's people within this community that will absolutely offer you help if you need it.
Not a part of that community anymore. But as I said, he from his troll account the other day, he on Facebook was calling me an effing nutter or something. I don't know. So it's calling me a nutter basically. So this is what they're really like.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. No, honestly, it means so much. The fact that you know what I say to people. The fact that you, the fact that you means so much more than anything to have someone that understands where you're coming from. It's just, oh, it's sort of, oh my gosh, I think the closest way you speak to care about and her sister, well, she was actually called sister, but and then I did care us in the next job, and I was really fine. I wasn't in the salary, and it's like it's been the bane of my life, bullying, school, Christian camp, I had bullying everywhere, bullying. And I'm at that point now Well, I just feel like, honest to goodness, I mean it. I absolutely mean it. I'm so glad. I was a little bit nervous about ringing you because I don't know why. Because it's all or nothing with me. Like it all comes out or it doesn't. And I'm just so glad that you've given me the patience. You've had the patience and you've given me that opportunity to really. I'm honest to goodness with what the police have put me through. I just went to the beach. I'm not going to talk to the beachy head chaplains anymore because it is. So they and you
Oh, give 1 second. I'm having a problem with my connection.
sorry.
No, no, it's not
I'm
right.
sorry.
Yeah, one of the Beachy Head chaplains, Andy, he left because it was too procedure based. He couldn't save people. Oh, I will just say though, no, I forgot what I was going to say. Um, this thing about being a bully. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well, anyway, it's not really worth it. But um, no, I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. Right, it's come back now. I'm buffering for a with you.
I'm sorry.
No, no, just stop saying sorry. It's not you. It's my internet connection. It can't be anything to do with you. Just stop apologising.
It's a reflex. I'm actually saying sorry now. Um, yeah, no. I'm just. I'm at that point where I've had enough of talking to the beachy head chaplain. I'm one of those people. I'm a people pleaser, but there are a number of reasons why I don't want to speak to them again. But I just think of what Andy said when he was calling me away. There's this man called Andy who used to work for the chaplain, and he said, "Oh no, no, I'm not having another one go over." But he gave up in the end because it was too procedure. It's a procedure based thing. And the thing is, there are lots of the thing about this town is and I don't know if it's, I've got a love-hate relationship with Eastbourne, and it's one of those funny towns. But I have exhausted so many avenues. It's very easy for people to say, "Oh, well, maybe move out to Eastbourne then." Um, sorry, no, everything's tied up here emotionally, and I've got my stuff. I've got stuff everywhere, everywhere, and my mother died in this town, and I grew up in a neighbouring town. I won't say where, but I know a lot of people. My little sister's had a sex change to a man.
Okay.
I was told by a locum 5 years ago you need trauma.
So there you go. Saying that my sister's had a sex change to a man. Yeah, this is 3 years ago. And earlier this year, I didn't think I was going to see the light of day because because of because I won't call her a man. It's coming to you, America. Coming to you. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the brave survivor.
Therapy. You need what the big because I told him about my mother and my father and the violence when I was little. Because really,
Oh yes. And talking of bullies, so I've got as I've said a million times now, Dan obviously got his Facebook. He used his troll account to verbally abuse me, and it was one of his followers um, woman who dated Dan or something. She rang me, and she said that even his children don't like him. So this is what I mean. They start, someone starts off as a really nice they seem to be friendly, but you really don't know what people are like. Well, they say it takes 5 years to get to know someone, but I don't know. Some people show their true colours quite quickly.
You've had a nice middle class upbringing and all that, and but when they don't see everything, they don't know everything. And my mother told me something very traumatic in one of these hotels. She had an illegal abortion 24 years before I was born by a male prostitute in Pennsylvania in 1958. That's 24 years before I was born. She said a cop took her under her wing, and she told me that in one of these hotels, not long before she died. And I just thought, oh my gosh, we seem to have more issues in our family than I ever realised. And people hate me. Like, I can't seem to get Darren and I couldn't get through to anyone. Our relationship is in tatters. The past 5 years of our relationship has involved me being put in police cells, sleeping rough. His family don't seem to want to know. And I'm just left thinking, I thought this very beautiful relationship that we had, what's happened to it? Because yeah, and on top of this, I'm sorry about, I've gone on about my mental health. I'm sorry, I never meant to do that. Um, what I mean, the thing is, it's all sort of like tied up with the same thing. Um, I don't understand why the police and there's a mental health food bank advocate that helped me with my sort of PIP and everything, and she said I can't understand why no one would help you, and she said, oh, my her husband and her thought that Darren was abusing me, but I know that we all know though that Darren's got his issues and we're a crutch for each other.
Yeah.
And for a whole year that I've been attacked at the council,
Oh,
just to explain to you, I'm sorry if I sound a bit
oh, I'm so
annoyed.
tired.
Well,
Sorry.
I don't know why anyone
I
would
need to
listen
explain
to all of this.
something happened where I was charged with
Oh.
beating two police officers. But I need to explain to you how that happened because
Despite the fact that nobody saw the injuries and the physical and verbal abuse. Like I said, I mean it. I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. Rape was nothing. It was nothing. And I mean that. Compared to what the so-called police have done, because I tell you what, that is domestic abuse. That was violence. My partner Darren, he never. Do you know what? I want to put this on the record. I want this on record. Darren has never, ever called me any names. Yeah, he shouted back at me. Oh, he did, earlier this year, he did actually shout back at me, call me a stupid idiot. He screamed, bellowed. But it could be because of what I've obviously called him. But I was hurting because I didn't get a birthday card and he's running away from me and he's not there when he should be and do 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 do. And this lovely lady Oh my gosh, if you watch all my videos through, I don't know how you do it because it must be so boring. But thank you for your. I just don't read people's emails because I don't respond to people I don't know because, as I said, I've had to deal with, the yeah, and I really do appreciate that. Uh, I just don't trust anyone. This landlady is an elderly woman, and look what she's done. She's only 1 year younger than what my mother would be, so she would be what, 86, 87 this year. Just absolutely vile, and she should be in prison. And she's still got my things, and I'm so naive about. I'm an intelligent person. Like, it doesn't surprise me that Dan from Police Abusing Powers has turned out like this because I know what people are like. But you don't expect people to be like this. This is what I'm saying. You don't expect an elderly woman to be all motherly and say she'll help you write a book when you've never even met the damn woman. And then she goes and does. You just don't expect it. Because I have this thing of, the older generations, we should respect our elders. And maybe I sound old fashioned or strange, but I don't know. I was brought up well. And I'm a woman of Yahweh. Anyway, but yeah, no, Shalom Shabbat Yahweh to that lady who emailed me. I'm sorry I haven't responded to you.
I promise you,
I'll
I
just
did
play the
not
rest of
miss a
this.
click.
Do you know what? I don't even need to explain. Like, what the police do, and this is important, what the police do, when they arrest somebody, even if you just pull away, they'll go, oh, it's assault, it's a resisting arrest, and then you might step on their toe. They might bend their finger back while they're trying to put the handcuffs on you, and then they start screaming assault. And the reason they do that is so that they've got something to fall back on if the main charge doesn't stick. That's what
I,
they do. Every arrest, you'll hear them shout out, stop resisting, stop resisting. And the reason they do that is so they've always got something to fall back on if the main charge fails.
honestly, let me tell you,
I
this is,
can't keep
I
up with
really,
it.
I'm now so,
It's too much for it. I don't want to end up with cancer. I find all of it, what Dan's just said there about resisting if you don't accept the main charge. I find all of it. Everybody in this country needs one of those booklets that tells you, because this is George Orwell's 1984. There's never been a time in life where we've had a nanny mamby pamby, policing people's words and all this. I'm struggling. Like, Darren speaks like me, just as Richard Pryor said, as he said what Richard Pryor said, just being human is hard enough. Just getting up, just doing anything. Everything is just too much, and I'm trying to look after my health. So, this is the only reason why I want to read the Bible because I'm basing it on what's actually going on. There's never been a time in my life where I felt I could pick up a Bible or even show an interest, and yet I called myself a Christian. But now, because we're in the end times, because the warfare is there, it's all there. You're living in it. You're in the thick of it, so it makes it easier to look to pick up the Bible and go, oh yeah, well that's happening right now. There's the evidence for you, the end times, you know. So I get kind of some, that weird sort of comfort from the suffering and the torture, if that makes sense. So what it's got to, hasn't it? Oh, so yeah, but like I said, when I actually did when I had a job, when I went out to work, when I was living at home with my mother, yes, I might stay in bed on my days off because of the chronic depression that I had back then, but my life was still easier and I had a life. And I put makeup on and I went out and I did good and I did fun things and we went, I had my mother and I was eating well as well. Of course, my mother did cook for me and I'm missing all of that. Now I'm drinking bloody Lucasade, which I never used to drink, energy drinks. Even my mother never touched her Lucasade in the glass bottles. But crumbs, I had a life. And like I said, my mother did cook for me, and I had my mother only got what do you call it? Organic vegetables, and I'm missing all of that. I'm having bloody microwave meals and sandwiches and crisps in this room because that's all I can. That's the best I can manage. So I'm missing all that goodness, but just hearing all of it, so and of course having a laptop and all the radiation from that and the blue screen. I really need what William Schnobel said. I need those blue light glasses. But that'll be an investment for my eyes and my overall. It's probably why I've got such massive bags under my eyes that weren't there before. It's not. It's really not, all of this stuff is so bad for your health. Some ways I've improved with age. In other ways, nah, because of the times we're living in.
Like a lot of your thing. But I mean, I can understand maybe if you, maybe if for another time, because I don't want to take up your time. But I am desperate to tell you about what happened on the 7th of October.
Okay, please go ahead.
It was, thank you so much. Because it, I know this is going to sound dramatic to other people. It's going to sound, oh, it's being dramatic. No, honest to goodness, I've never been this scared in my life. I've led a sheltered life when it comes to, um, when it comes to this sort of thing. I mean, I don't know about,
I was just where they tried to get me in prison.
I'm still sort of in that learning
Oh.
process.
Yeah.
It was so frightening. This is why I've got this lovely lady who's, I feel like a prayer really has been answered now because she was, I can't believe this was happening to me.
She's gone now,
She was a
though.
witness to my bullying and my terrorism in this council accommodation that's got a terrible it is enough to make anyone go completely mad. And basically, she's going to come with me. I'll tell you what, honest to goodness, I'm not just saying this. I'm too scared to call the police now. I mean, if my life is in danger, I know that
Well, it
sounds
doesn't. It's a sad state to be in when you're afraid to call the people that are supposed to be there to help you.
said that because I wasn't sure if I was going to have.
Exactly.
Like, I know some people are like, well, this is the world we're living in now, and I'm thinking, I don't want to be scared. But I'm too scared to go into even the police desk without her.
Right.
Because what happened is, just so you understand how this all came about. Basically, on the Wednesday, the 21st of October 2020, it took me 3 weeks to email the IOPC.
Waste of
The longest
damn
email
time.
I've ever sent anyone, and I still had nothing from it.
It's all a joke. I just want to say, even I forget how it's going to take the rest of my life because we are in this country, we are programmed to normalize all of this abnormality that's going on. And I'm supposed to, it's Stockholm syndrome that we are all in, as particularly me. I've I'm taking the kind of bullshit that I never, ever, ever would in a million years have tolerated. But I don't want to be a political prisoner. Um, and I really am. Even when I keep talking myself up on YouTube, even I forget as I'm doing this, just how strong I've had to be. So, whilst it might sound like I'm talking myself up a lot, I'm still not. So it's like when I say to people, when you see me angry, you're not seeing me angry. You will never really see it because they've beaten me into the ground. It's like, how dare you, Bryony? How dare you? We're gonna now we are really gonna intimidate you with our fake laws that we've made it all up as we go along. They're committing crimes against us. And like John Alexander Patterson from the Royal Commission said to me, don't kill yourself because that is what they want. They would love it if you killed yourself because that's one less person to be afraid of. The reason why these people are bullies and trolls and narcissists, they are terrified of you. And even Monique Prescott said to me from the council, she said, the homeless hub, she said, do you think maybe people are afraid? But because I'm telling the truth, that means you've got something to hide. The only people who are afraid have got something to hide. What have you got to hide? She's got a lot to hide. They've all got a lot to hide because of what they've done to me. Oh, I don't mind if you mention my name on YouTube, and yet her colleague said to her at the council, you can hang up on Bryony if you like. Why? Because she's got a YouTube channel. And she said, maybe people are afraid. And this is someone who used to be a paralegal. And she now works at the homeless hub. And she knows Joe Holden. Oh yes, does she know about Joe Holden's corruption? Does she know about his 16 pages of corruption and sexual harassment that Marion on YouTube has mentioned? Because she too has apparently ended up in the psychiatric unit. That very intelligent elderly woman. That's what they did to John Alexander Patterson. But those of us who speak the truth, we shall reap. We shall reap what we have sown. You shall know a tree by its fruit, as Darren kept reminding me.
Our hotel for my safety. There's a back page keep away from one of these awful temporary accommodations. I wasn't the only one complaining. I know you shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but I'm going to be honest. I was scared of her, and apparently she's just taken her own life. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm scared of her. She was a woman from the travelling community that was known to the police as being one hell of a nightmare. She'd come in completely drunk. She came in covered in blood because the car had hit her. And her partner was threatening someone with a hammer. The thing is, they put vulnerable people in with mothers and babies